Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to call the Education Instruction Subcommittee on Tuesday, March 4th into order. Madam Clerk, if you'll take the roll. Members, if you'll. Madam Clerk, take the roll.
Mr. Chairman, you have 4 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Members, we are working on a short staff here, so we're going to be very abbreviated today. We're going to take someone out of order here right away. We're going to call up House Bill 368. Hold on one second. Does anybody have any personal orders? I'm sorry. Seeing no personal orders, we're going to call up House Bill 368 by Representative Stinnett. Do I have a motion? Motion. And a second? Representative Stinnett, you have an amendment on the bill? I do, sir. Drafting code? 3976. Motion on the amendment. Do I have a second? Second, thank you. We have a motion and a second on that. Does this rewrite the bill?
This changes date from 25 and 26 to 26, 27.
Members, you've heard the explanation on the amendment. Without objection, we'll go ahead and add that amendment on to the bill. You're in the proper position. Please go ahead and present your bill as amended.
Thank you, Chairman. Tennessee Safe Haven allows mothers in crisis to safely and legally surrender their newborn to designated facilities without the fear of prosecution. Many young people are unaware of this option, which provides opportunity for tragedies and bad outcomes for newborns. By incorporating education about safe haven laws into the state curriculum, we can ensure that all students, 9 through 12, have this knowledge that they can use life-saving resources through safe haven laws. This prevents abandonment, saves lives, supports young parents in crisis. It promotes public safety and health, fosters responsibility and decision-making. This bill encourages the Department of Education to corroborate with a safe place of newborns of Tennessee Industry, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to educate the public, healthcare providers regarding this state safe haven laws in developing education material aligned to the guidelines developed by the state board. This bill requires the Department of Education to distribute these guidelines to the state board, from the state board to each LEA that serves students 9 through 12, and also not only the public schools, but also charter schools. Chairman, I stand for questions.
Members, you've heard the explanation on the bill. If you have any questions, I'll call you. Representative Johnson.
Thank you, and thanks for talking to me before about the bill. And, you know, I'll say again that I always feel like there's one more thing that teachers have to have on their plate because it's everything they can do to get the standards in each day. It's so difficult. And so, you know, I always struggle with that. It's frustrating to me because we talk about caring about these kids and their lives, and then yet we're a state that forces a 10-year-old to carry a pregnancy from a rape. And it's incredibly frustrating that we're not doing anything about that. And so it's not that I oppose letting folks know about this, but it's just what's already in the classroom, the things that we're doing that harm young people. And just want you to understand how I feel when I vote on this bill. Thank you.
Representative Stinnett, any response?
I taught for 37 years. I know all about those things being added to us. But in my opinion, this is a very important opportunity for us to get information to the public, and especially kids 9th through 12th grade, and give them an option.
Representative Mayberry.
I'll call the question.
Oh, you called the question? Question has been called without objection. We'll go ahead and take the vote. Madam Clerk, will you take the vote, please? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 3 aye and 1 present non-voting.
House Bill 368 moves out of committee to full education. We'll see you next week, sir. Members, next up, House Bill 531 by Chairman Farmer. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Chairman Farmer, I do not see an amendment. Is that correct? Turn them on. Turn them on. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, there's no amendment to this bill.
Chairman Farmer, you're in a proper position. Go ahead and present your bill, sir.
Thank you, members, and I appreciate y'all taking the time to hear this. This is just a very broad, basic bill to do with AI. It's an emerging way of life, whether from the education standpoint that we're all going to be dealing with, especially our children. Whether it's from writing papers, from plagiarism, issues with that. There's other things that AI can be used for, whether it's duplicating, making people look like other people, doing different things. So I think it's important that we start introducing these concepts in our education system. And like I said, this is a fairly broad bill, and it was broad on purpose so we could build onto it and make it more specific as things goes along. So the whole policy and intent behind this is let's start incorporating the concepts of AI, responsible use of AI, whether it be from education. Well, educationally is what it's made for. So just want to help our kids have what they need to learn and keep up the rest of the world.
Thank you, Representative Johnson.
So when does the bill kick in? I mean, when?
Chairman Farmer.
Well, this in section 2, it says this act takes effect upon becoming law. So that would be if it passed both chambers when the governor signs it.
Representative Johnson.
I guess my question is, when are teachers going to be trained in order to teach this? Because we need training if we're going to teach young people. We can't just go off on what you think teachers already know. So how are they going to get this training so that they will be able to teach it to their students?
Representative Farmer, I think that's section 1A.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's correct. Beginning in the 26-27 school year, each LEA and public charter school shall provide age-appropriate instruction to students on how to utilize, et cetera, with regards to use AI. And I understand what you're saying, Representative Johnson, and I appreciate that. So as I said, this is a broad bill. If you saw that there may be some legislation that could build on it, that would incorporate some training aspect to it, I would certainly welcome that.
And then in section B, it talks about the implementation from the districts.
But if we don't give teachers time to get the training in order to, there's got to be at least a year where teachers get the training so that they can teach it. You can't ask teachers to start teaching something next year when they haven't had training to teach it prior, because no teacher I'm aware of has had any such training. And so if we're set to teach it 26, 27, when do the teachers get trained? Before then.
Chairman Farmer.
I think, Mr. Chair, and once again, it talks in section B about the implementation, what they're to teach.
But you can't teach it if you haven't been trained it.
Section C,
And
Chairman.
And I'm getting to that.
Okay, thank you.
Madam, thank you. Subject to available funding, the Department of Education shall provide a professional development program in artificial intelligence education for educators. So the bill addresses that there in section C.
Professional development.
Hold on. Representative Johnson.
Professional development is typically an hour in service.
Mhm.
You're not going to learn how to teach that in that amount of time. That's not a training to be able to teach something. That you get updates there and that sort of thing, but that is not training to teach that. I mean, I agree with you 100%. We need to make kids aware of AI. I just think time has to be allowed for teachers to understand in detail what they're talking about so that they can teach it a kid. That's my concern.
Yeah.
But I support the idea of, making that a known entity. And
Chairman Farmer, response.
And thank you, Mr. Chair. And Representative Johnson, to that, as I stated, this is a broad bill. This is a start, right? I'm just trying to get our foot in the door, to where we can get our children on the right path. I'm sure there's going to be many of us that has ideas on how to build upon this. I welcome that. I'm asking for that. So I'm just trying to start the ball moving forward to get us to where we need to be so our kids are educated and keep up with the rest of the world. Thank you.
Oh, hold on. Representative Johnson, last one, because we got someone else.
And I totally understand that. I just really feel it needs to be done in an order, because I know some teachers who will get out there and think they know about AI and not really have the factual information that they need to go. So that's my concern.
Representative Mayberry,
I can call a question.
question's been called without objection. Madam Clerk, go ahead and take the vote, please. Go ahead and take the vote, Madam Chair. Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, you have 3 aye, 1 nay.
Thank you very much. House Bill 531 moves off to education instruction full. We'll see you next week, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Committee.
Next up, House Bill 1197 by Chairman Kumar. Chairman Kumar, you are recognized. We have a motion. Second. You have a motion, second. Chairman Kumar, you do not have an amendment. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Your bill is in a proper position. Go ahead and make your presentation, sir.
Thank you, sir. The value of Bible in the lives of most Tennesseans is integral. Yet there has been difficulty about how we incorporate into learning for our students. In 1963, the Supreme Court Schempp decision ruled that mandatory Bible reading in schools is unconstitutional. However, they did not ban the Bible from the schools. Subsequently, or later, in 2008, our state passed a bill that allowed for non-sectarian, non-religious, and academic study of the Bible for classes K-9 through 12. In 2009, in follow-up, Tennessee Bible standards were developed. Of the 147 school districts in the state of Tennessee, only 36 districts were able to do it because of the labor and effort involved in that. In 2018, I sponsored a bill, Public Chapter 775, asking that the approved curricula be listed on the website of the Department of Education so that smaller districts who were not able to develop their own can borrow the curricula that have already been approved and be able to use them for, again, an academic, non-devotional, non-sectarian study of the Bible in schools. The problem is that the 2008 law said that curricula will be approved by the Department of Education, and the 2018 bill said they will be approved by the State Board of Education. So nothing got done. At this time, House Bill 1197 aligns things in the proper manner so that course and subject, a title of study, it defines standards, and the curriculum as a word is removed. The local LEAs will be in charge and be the authority to approve Bible courses. The names of the LEAs who have done so will be listed on the Department of Education website. This will allow the LEAs that are small and not able to develop their own Bible courses to obtain approved materials from that site. With that, I stand ready to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chairman. Members. Representative Johnson.
One thing I'm unclear on, it says here that clarifies that public charter schools are authorized to provide the same. And is that what we're doing? Because I thought charter schools, I'm always told up here that charter schools are public schools, so go ahead.
Chairman Kumar.
You're right. I left that word out, but where it says LEAs and charter schools, LEAs are, of course, public schools, so are charter school. Both of them will follow the same criteria and the same system in making Bible courses available to their students.
Representative Johnson, follow up.
So is that the only thing you're changing here? Just putting it on the website so other folks can use the curriculum that's already been approved as non-sectarian and non-religious.
Chairman Kumar?
Yes, that is true.
I know when
Hold on. Representative Johnson, sorry.
I thought we were adults. In my school system, we've always had, either religious studies, Bible history, whatever. So I guess it's new to me. Thank you.
Chairman Kumar?
It's a good thing.
Representative Mayberry?
And call the question.
Question has been called. Any objection to the question being called? Upon seeing none, Madam Clerk, go ahead and take the vote. Members vote. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 5 aye.
House Bill 1197 moves on to full education. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Members, we have one more bill. Before I get there, give me 1 second. Housekeeping. House Bill 380 has been rolled 1 week. Next up is House Bill 178 by Chairman Bulso. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Motion and a second. Chairman Bulso, I believe you have an amendment, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do.
Drafting code is 004415.
Yes,
Does it rewrite the bill or add to it?
it adds to it.
Adds to it. Motion and a second on that? Can you get a brief explanation of what you're adding into the bill?
Yes, it adds a new effective date, the new date being July 1 of 2026, because if adopted, this would require additional instructions.
Thank you, Chairman. You've heard the explanation. Without objection, we will go ahead and add that onto the bill. Okay, Chairman Bulso, you're in the proper position. Go ahead and present your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, members. This is a bill that seeks to add instruction to our family life curriculum. As all of you are aware, we've got in 49-6-1304 14 different issues that are required to be part of any family life curriculum. 80% of those, if not a few more, deal with sex education. What this bill would do would be to add a 15th item that has to be taught as part of a family life curriculum. And specifically, it would require instruction and evidence on what is termed the success sequence, which is a term that comes from studies that have been authorized by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services as a term that deals with policies to reduce poverty and help adolescents and young adults achieve self-sufficiency as adults. And in brief, success sequence simply means that you instruct as to the evidence regarding a student obtaining a high school diploma or its equivalent first, and then going on to employment or post-secondary education, and then becoming married, and then having children in that order. And the proposal is that that sequence would be taught as part of the family life curriculum that would instruct students as to the positive personal and social benefits that arise when one uses that sequence following high school. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Members, you've heard the explanation on the bill. Representative Johnson.
Thank you. I understand that this is a traditional path for folks. Wasn't my path, and I feel like I'm doing okay. I really have a problem with putting something else on a teacher's plate, but I've heard so often that some things need to be taught at home and things need to be taught by the family. But it's a very privileged way to approach things, and everybody doesn't use and can't use this path. And to pretend like there's only one path to success, I just have a serious problem with. And, this might be a great path, but a lot of folks have taken other paths and done just great. And so I just can't support teaching this, what it's going to do to kids who are different or who have families who are different than this. I just don't see that we need to add that to the current curriculum. Thank you.
Chairman Bulso, response.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, and thank you for those remarks, Representative Johnson. I can simply say that, the issue about whether we should have a family life curriculum in our public schools is a decision this body has made many years ago. And obviously, they have, to this point, imbued it with quite a bit of sex education, and that was obviously a decision that the body made many years ago. I think this actual sequence is probably the most important part of any family life curriculum because it gives students evidence. It's not opinions. It's not anything that either expresses a value judgment as to one's life history. It just simply gives evidence as to what the record reveals with regard to poverty, teen pregnancy rates, incarceration, things of that nature, when one follows a path that is high school, working, college, marriage, and then children. And obviously, very many successful people come out of very different circumstances, including, as you've just mentioned, your own personal history. But what this does is simply gives the students evidence about what the most likely path to success is. And then obviously they're free as adults to make their own judgments about what paths to follow.
Representative Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sponsor, I just wanted to commend you for bringing this. I think it's important that we as a body, as a whole, not just this committee, but the body as a whole, continue to provide more and more pieces of information, make that available to students so that they can discern what is best for them. This is not a mandate that's telling students how they need to operate or how they need to go forward in life, but this is giving them more information and, as you said, statistical data that shows that this is a process that it appears to be very successful for a lot of people. We teach a lot of things to kids in school. I did the Just Say No program. Now we do DARE and others, but there are still students that end up going and doing drugs and having other issues that still get past that and are successful in life. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't teach them that maybe that's not the best choice. So what you're providing here and by us adding this to the curriculum as an option for teachers to instruct children as, hey, this is an additional piece of information that you should consider is a good thing. And I appreciate you bringing it.
Chairman Bolso.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Representative Barrett, for those remarks.
Without seeing any more, we are ready. Without objection, we'll go ahead and vote on this. Madam Clerk, go ahead and take the vote. Please vote. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
Mr. Chairman, you have 4 ayes, 1 nay.
House Bill 178 by Chairman Bolso passed out. We'll see you in Education Full next week, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Members, that is it for our calendar today. Next week will be our final calendar. We have a maximum of 3 bills on there. So without objection, we are adjourned. Okay.
How you doing today?